What it do? What it do? Y'all know what's going on, man. It's your boy OK Bet, aka K Trades, man. Beautiful day, man. I ain't gonna lie. Gorgeous day, man. If you follow the game plan, you absolutely bang today again. No surprise there. But yeah, man. Let's go ahead and get into it. Straight to the game plan, straight to the recap. We don't like to waste too much time trying to get in, get out. You know what I'm saying? Because we definitely got parlays to put in. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first things first, right? We talked about how on SPY, the same levels that applied the past 2 days applied today, right? We had the previous days closed. It closed almost in the same exact spot, both days, right? Both had a little close here. So all we had to do was basically watch for the downside. Remember, I said the downside would be a little easier for confirmation because we would start to lose the 749, get back below into the gap, yada, yada, yada. But if we held, what did I say? We used the same rules, right? We just used the previous day's close, which is basically what we did, right? We used that previous day's close, and it ended up actually being a gorgeous play. We ended up getting some news or something. Of course, it was probably the Trump peace treaty, all that type of stuff. But it goes to show that the news is just a catalyst, right? Like if you position yourself on the right side of the trade, make sure you're respecting your levels and stuff like that, then it'll play out the way it's supposed to, right? There's no point in stressing the trade, right? So we got calls. We actually got calls at 9:34. So the exact low of day, and then we added at 10 o'clock on the dot. So right here. So we waited, literally only 5 minutes, and then next thing I know, we're up 500%, right? So we caught a nice little bag off that today. And then what else we took? Oh, NVDA. We took NVDA. That was gorgeous, right? We took the initial pump, and then we got back in NVDA again, hit another 70% on that. Microsoft, absolutely bonkers, 200% on that. We talked about this. Remember this one I talked about yesterday? I said it was pissing me off because it was taking so long to actually go. But we finally got it, man. Finally. So yeah, all of these plays were absolutely bonkers, man. Another one that pissed me off was Amazon, bro. Amazon opened up and just dumped, right? But because we know that we needed a retest of this neckline, right? Remember we had the inverse head and shoulders. I just got out, stopped out. At open, it stopped me out. So I was a little frustrated, but by the time I looked back and we had already reclaimed that 271, I was like, well, we might as well get back in. So we ended up actually getting back in, and we profited off that. And we're actually swinging a few contracts. We got the 275, so we're just, right there. So if we get a nice little pump overnight, then, those will probably open up in the money and stuff like that too. So let's go over the game plan. Like I said, let's keep it simple and, see what Payday Friday is going to get us. All right, so first off, of course, SPY. Got to go with our baby SPY. Get rid of this real quick. Same rules, right? What do we always do? Previous day's close. Mark previous day's close, right? Let's say we gap up, which I hope we do. Honestly, my upper target is around 757, somewhere around that range. But if we do gap up, right, whatever lower high we set, right, whether it come all the way back down to 753, right, whether it comes down to 752, whatever lower high it sets, if it gives us one, right? Because it can just keep pumping, and that's why I kind of just been avoiding it. That's why I just took the 1DTs and the zeros and just was like, well, we're just gonna bank on that. So we ended up actually going crazy on those. But if it continues to go to the upside, like I said, you gotta let that just go. You gotta let that just go. Don't try to time the tops. Don't try to, oh, this is it right here. Like I said, there's you can use fib extensions, price. Price targets and stuff like that, but it can just keep going up, right? We can see 760 tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? We really don't know for sure. So SPY, like I said, it's one of those ones that we swung. You just let it play out, right? Let it play out. Let it see. If Trump says anything, we need to get a little taco news or anything like that. But if not, you just gotta let that one go. That's just one of those, just one of those ones. NVIDIA, right? One that we actually do have levels and stuff on. Because remember, with SPY, we look left for levels, but we can't look left. We're literally, even right now, market just closed and we're just pumping, right? We're just pumping all-time high. So, NVIDIA, oh, that's a wild wick. That's a wild little wick. But NVIDIA, this is the main thing I was watching for, right? So if you zoom all the way out, all right, 4 hour or above, this is just an all-time high breakout retest. Remember we talked about this yesterday. Well, we don't know for sure yet if it's a retest. But as of now, right, we reject it. Right, that same 210 area, we finally got back above. And what do we always need? A retest, right? No matter what we do. That's why I always tell y'all, you'll never miss the move. Even if you missed all this pump, right? If we're truly bullish, then this would just be a breakout retest. And if you buy time, right, you'll be able to let it play out. So, like I said, today reason why we took the video, because we saw the aggressive selling trend that was kind of going, like I said, into our retest level. So, I was like, well, like I said, if it's inside the selling channel, you let it go until you break out, retest, and then get a push. So we actually did get that breakout retest. So I actually did end up, I played a few tomorrow's expirations, and then I have June 5th. I have June 5th contracts as well. So just some more calls. Main target, like I said, if we get above that 215, we hold that, right? Get above 220. 220 is probably going to be the main watch as far as like if we're going to really continue, right? We get up to this 220, if you know what I'm saying, I don't know. But hopefully, if we get up to 220, hopefully tomorrow everything just keeps running. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, if we do get up to this 220, then that'll be kind of like our major, level of deciding, okay, are we going to get back above, right? And if we do, you push over, you know what I'm saying, keep going for those upper targets and possibly all-time highs over the next, weeks and months. Like I said, this is something that you want to buy time on because this is a daily, you know what I'm saying, this is a daily channel. So, when I always give you hourly levels, that means they take hours to play out. If I give you a weekly level, that means it might take a few weeks to play out, right? Perfect example, Microsoft. Let's go ahead and switch over. Perfect segment change, right? Remember we said the reason why I like this one so much, not only do we have an inverse head and shoulders on the weekly, but we had a weekly bull flag. So whenever, if this and that, if this flag broke, then it would get a nice little push. So thankfully, we've been consolidating for a while, man. This thing has just been going sideways for a little while, but we finally got a pop today. So, hopefully with Microsoft, if we do get a gap up, right, or if we can finally break this 430, right? If we can finally break this 430, right, we got the 440, and then we have a gap at 440, my fault, all the way up to, goodness, hold on. This gap's all the way up to 480, goodness gracious. Obviously, I'm not saying it's just going to go overnight, just magnet to 480, but this is one of those ones, like I said, Microsoft is lagging. A lot of the Mag 7 is already all-time high. Everything's just pumping, pushing, and Microsoft has been getting smacked since since July. So this might be a good one to look into as far as being able to catch the next move, right? Being able to catch the dip, because a lot of them, like I said, have they already kind of took off. So like that's the reason why I'm not really so focused on SPY, right? I'm just really swinging SPY because, like I said, it's already at the all-time highs. If it's gonna go, it's just gonna keep pumping, and you're not gonna be able to do anything about it, right? So why try to chase that move at all-time highs? And that's why I said yesterday it would be a little bit harder to trade if we didn't get a pullback, right? And another thing too, my fault, I know I'm switching over real quick, but I just want to say this real quick. So remember how we talked about how sometimes when it's too obvious, it doesn't always play out? You saw how obvious that head and shoulders was, and we talked about it in the video yesterday, how obvious this head and shoulders was, and they got you, right? So most people, like I said, they just jump in without confirmation. They're like, oh, head and shoulder, we gotta go down. Cool, yeah, we did start to dip in pre-market, but we got back up, retest, sayonara, right? Beautiful 500+%. If you held, probably 800, probably 1,000% for all I know. I don't know, but yeah, see, we're pushing right now. So like I said, it's damn near impossible to time the top. All right, let's go back over to this. Yeah, so if we do break over that 430, right? 440, my fault, and then like I said, just blue sky territory if we do slowly want to work our way up to fill that gap around that 480, possibly even 500, right? Because remember, look where we are. This is a yearly channel. This thing's been holding for some years now. You know what I'm saying? So if this channel's going to keep holding, stonks only go up. So if that's true, like I said, we'll just buy some time and let it print, right? This would be the perfect time to, get you a starter position if you aren't already in, right? Or if you didn't get in that open today. So yeah, even if tomorrow they pull it back down, as long as we can hold like that 420, right? And then push over 430, then we should be good. So either we just go straight, we just boom, break over and then retest, or like I said, they want to give us a retest first. Amazon. Yeah, Amazon's another one where I'm just kind of letting that thing go, man. Like we're almost at all-time highs. And same thing, we're in this bullish channel, right? Just letting it kind of go. So if it wants to keep going, like I said, you can't fight bull markets, right? You can't fight it when it's just flying. Like we don't know if it's gonna dump, right? People are already trying to be like, double top. We don't know yet, right? We don't know. For it to be a double top, remember, you have to break a neckline for it to be considered a double top. So trying to call it double tops, even with SPY, right? You see where that got everybody trying to call it double tops. But yeah, what else? The one and only big Tesla. All right, y'all know I hate Tesla, and I only trade Tesla on Fridays, even though I hate it so much. But Tesla did kind of get a nice little a handle. Remember how we talked about how Tesla moves kind of weird and does like to retest those levels, which, isn't a bad thing, but it does kind of, take away from the beautiful, just normal price action. Like normal price action, we would have broke out, retest. You made it high, and then you just came all the way back down. Like I don't understand what Tesla be having going on, but it's very just news dependent. Like I know I always say like most stocks aren't. Tesla really is one of those type of stocks. Like it's just, yeah, it's one of those. If it runs, it runs, and if it's not running, it's just gonna go sideways or just dump forever. So yeah, we do got a nice little cup and handle. So if this was the handle, like I said, if tomorrow wants to run, right, we break over at 445, I will play Tesla's 0DTs for sure. If, like I said, if it looks good, aim for that 460 to 465 level, right? Because we have that gap up there. So if that's the case, then we'll play that. But yeah, I think that's about it. Man. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna see how, because remember, one daily candle is not enough for confirmation, right? This could just be a bearish move, retest, and that's, it might just dump all the way down. So you need multiple days for confirmation when you're considering swinging, right? And this is why it's just easier for me to just do day trading, because I'm not necessarily having to wait, entire days and stuff like that in order to profit and stuff like that. So dang, SPY is pushing. It sucks though, because NVDA, it should be gapping up too and pushing. But we'll see how it all plays out. And yeah, so Microsoft, hopefully that keeps pumping. Amazon too. Hopefully everything just keeps pumping, man. It's so much easier to trade. When you're just patient, getting at certain levels, and then just let the money come in. So yeah, I know the vibes, man. Keep it simple. Every day, I always tell y'all, keep it simple. Remember, this is not it's not complicated. It just puts a mirror to yourself, right? It makes you kind of realize who you are as a person. If you are super anxious and you got to this and this, you're probably not gonna be able to hold as long, right? Because you're always gonna be in fear of what happens if it goes wrong, right? But remember, it doesn't mean anything whether you stress about it or not. Market's gonna do what the market's gonna do, whether you are in it, whether you're not in it, whether you're a million contracts in, whether you're one contract in, right? Market don't care. So get that fear out of your head, stick to your game plan. Don't change your rules, stick to your rules, be patient. And yeah, keep God first, man. And I'll see y'all later.